it's not lost because I love it so much.
so much. It's such a cute thing that we make.
Cool. Oh, we're rolling.
Right. It's my turn. I literally asked you while we were watching the movie. Anyways, welcome back to Blockbuster Banter. This is episode 5, Rocky. We're starting the Rocky series. It's going to be every other week. So this week we did Rocky 1 and 2. Next week we'll do 3 and 4. Or not next week. The
following.
The next time I'm presenting. The next cycle, if you will. We'll do 3 and 4. The cycle after that, I'll do 5 and Balboa. The cycle after that, Creed 1 and 2, and then just Creed 3 by itself. I'm dressed up as if I am going to go fight Apollo Creed, though Carl Weathers would fold me in a blanket even though he is 6 feet under. There's no way that I would ever beat that man, and I'm not even going to try to. We wanted to dress up. Anubis over here is dressed up like Paulie.
I'm supposed to be Paulie and or Rocky. I noticed he had kind of like this hat.
He had more of a fedora, which I could have given you more of a fedora.
Oh.
Because I had.
I'm kidding.
You're just looking at me like, how dare you?
I mean, whatever gets us close enough, yeah. Because we were initially both going to be doing the like gymish attire, but I woke up like 10 minutes before I was supposed to leave, and we were supposed to watch him. So
well, I woke up 15 minutes after we were supposed to start. So.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's my fault for literally falling asleep on my phone. I don't know what woke me. I don't know if it was your call. I don't know if it was just natural. Because I did go to bed at almost 1 since I stayed up reading manga.
No, it was up a little late.
Yeah.
Editing the last video, which I hope you guys will enjoy and bear with me as I get used to, this new software that we got going on. I kind of wrote a little spiel in the description, but, this is, I'm excited to get better, and I'm excited that the production has increased so much.
Yeah,
so.
I'm still very happy with how the last video turned out, even though we both did get a little bit too ambitious. So I know we were talking about it last night, but I do feel that there's no reason to beat yourself up over the improvements that were made. If anything, it's all good. It's all good.
It's a good episode.
We got a little too ambitious, but we still raised the bar a lot.
Hell yeah, we did.
I don't think we lacked in any department, so don't beat yourself up. You did great.
Thanks, Carv.
Of course. But, yeah, so obviously things are changing. I have the whole heavyweight collection on Blu-ray. I also have Creed 1, 2, and 3 on Blu-ray. So since I have them on Blu-ray, we're just going to bring them in and have them in a little centerpiece on the table.
Yeah.
Because it's a little cute. It's on theme. I think we should do that for Top Gun Maverick. We should figure something out.
Or you could probably print just a PNG, laminate it, and just bring it back in.
I love that we're gonna let's laminate it.
I'll make it in black and white too, because colored ink is expensive.
Yeah, no, that's so fair. But yeah, welcome back to Blockbuster Banter. The movie opens already with a fight, and I wanna know how you felt about that, because the second movie kind of did.
Technically,
both you and I did not pay attention to or at least I it didn't look like you were, but I did not pay any attention to the opening of Rocky 2 until the ambulance noises started. Not that that's important for now. We'll get to that later, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm just kind of comparing and contrasting the openings. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to know what your thoughts are on the fight.
Yeah,
see,
as someone with a history of participating in the sport, not very
Really?
Have you not known this?
No.
No, my older brother taught me a lot of what he knew. Like, I was never really deep in the gyms or anything like that like he was. That was all him. But I learned a lot from him, and I've been a huge fan of the sport for as long as I can remember. And so, I mean, seeing it opening with the fight, and then as we came to learn that wasn't what the movie was about entirely, it's kind of like, I was telling Tyler this, that it for me, it was kind of an Oppenheimer moment, because I had to watch Oppenheimer twice. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck? There's nothing about physics, and like, I came for science, but then I realized it was about the man. And so I like that both of them open with the fight, and particularly I like that one opens with the fight, because you're like, oh yeah, there's boxing, this is sporty, this is manly stuff. But then throughout the movie, you're following the story of this person who's just I don't know. I like how often he brings up he's like, I don't know anything else and such. So I like
Yeah,
that.
he does do that a lot throughout both movies.
And I like that we see that he tries to do other things and that the movie isn't just about the one thing he thinks he's good at.
I agree.
So,
yeah.
I love that it opens with it because I was like, whoa, what the hell?
So like set your expectations, but then later in the movie you were surprised or like
I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Okay. I love talking about the opening fight. The ending of the fight, I put in my notes that this is like the first instance we see Rocky go crazy on the guy. He wails on Spider Rico right at the end of the fight to win.
Why you remember his name?
I remember I watch these movies probably 10 times, all of them.
That's right.
The Creed 1, 2, and 3 are probably the only ones that I haven't seen 10 times, but I've seen them at least 3. Creed 2 I probably watched 7.
Damn.
8 times.
Okay.
I love Creed 2.
Yeah, that fight was like it was kind of brutal. They were throwing like illegal moves. He was going for the kidneys. He threw a headbutt.
It was more of a street fight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like
it was like
just
in Mikey's gym. Nothing professional at all.
Mickey.
Bystanders even. Oh yeah, Mickey.
But yeah, I do like how illegal the fight is.
Yeah, especially with the pay after, where it's like, hey, I know you just got beat up, and we got paid $80. I'll give you half of it.
Yeah.
For
how
this,
much
that,
did
and
you
the other.
say it was?
Oh goodness, I can't remember the conversion at this point. But
I swear you said it was like $200 or something like that.
Oh well,
because I know you did we were doing the conversions in the middle of the. Maybe I'm thinking of the 200K that
you're thinking of the 200K that he earned from the Creed fight. But yeah, I loved how like, I guess for lack of better words, sketchy it was after they had won.
Right.
And they were like, look at all this stuff that you actually don't get for winning. But I have written down here that I like that right after that we kind of have the opening credit scene, which, as we mentioned last week with Fall Guy, these are a lot more where I expected them to be, and I like the old style of old intros. The font, the color.
It was 241 for the record.
Oh, okay. He won 241 for a fight. Which is like money. That he got his abs like his folded in a blanket, as you said.
Yeah.
But yeah, that walking scene, the classic like, hey, blah, your mom, and then he just keeps walking.
That's my next note.
Oh, nice.
I added a little subnote that like it's not just the walk. We get to see his whole routine from his night routine to his day routine.
Yeah.
Up until we meet Mr. Gazzo and get into like that job, his actual job.
Right.
Job? I don't know.
Well, one can only assume
he does to get the bills
his main
paid.
source of income.
His main source of income. I think his like main job, if he could, would be to box every night.
Of course.
But the dude who paid him in Spider Rico was just like, "Hi, you can box again in like 2 weeks, maybe."
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like what Mickey says later in the movie is that he has all the talent. He just doesn't apply himself to it as much as he can and should.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge lesson for Rocky in both the first 2 movies.
Absolutely.
You'll see in 3 and 4, he has a record. Like
I also would hope that he would start to believe himself. I feel like a lot of the first and second movie, especially with like what Mickey was saying, is you have all this wasted talent, and I think I'm hoping that now with ADRIEN, especially after getting out of her coma and then being like, win for me, like I hope that's stuff that kind of boosts his confidence a little bit. Because especially in something like that, if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe you can do it, then you're just going to get a beat down.
That's true.
And like, what are you doing? Not to say that you have to be like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy, but to have some sort of drive for it as opposed to just having it be a means to an end.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can. I want to talk more about the differences in the 2 fights, but I'm gonna save that until the end.
Okay.
The end. Kind of like, not the end, but like when we get to the end of the second movie.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can talk more about the first movie. But I just want to put a pin on that for later because I think I want to take everything you just said and then compare it to the second movie when we get to those parts in the second movie. Part of it was, yeah. But I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to compare that to the first movie. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Because I'm like, as I was saying that, I was just like, a lot of that was the second movie. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
But like in the first movie, he doesn't have any of those things.
No, Adrian, not yet. No, nothing.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Well, he has a gal
they're
he's chasing
dating.
for. Mm-hmm.
They're dating at the end. I don't know if boyfriend girlfriend is the words I'd use because there's no.
I don't know, man. It's the 70s.
Yeah, it's the 70s. I think they just skipped boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah. He was probably like, "Hey, you's got a different BB than mine. Do you want to get together and kiss sometimes?"
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it was in the 70s.
It
Clearly,
really was.
which is we can get to later when we get to that scene.
But yeah, and we even see that with his opening routine, and I appreciate that both movies do this. We get to see a difference in Rocky's routine in both movies. I think, because in the second movie he has everything he won from the first movie.
Yeah, and he's trying to deal with that.
Yeah, but in the first movie he literally has nothing. And that's just kind of part of my like routine note. But then my next note is like his routine is also seeing Adrien. So like Adrien from the get-go is always part of his life.
And she's established so well. I like that.
I agree. That is actually the note, almost word for word.
Oh, nice.
That I think her introduction is.
No, when you told me that Sylvester Stallone was thinking of writing like a love story, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I know. I remember that was
Because
that's what Rocky is.
Yeah,
it's not the boxing matches. It's Rocky and his life, and he just happens to be a boxer. So the climax of the movie is obviously going to be whatever fight he goes into, but what makes those fights so interesting is because we got to see Rocky's whole life leading up into that point, and we get to see what's at stake. And in Rocky 1, it's the love story. I think Rocky 2 is a lot less the love story.
It's a little bit more of finding himself and finding more of the inner like self as opposed to outward.
I agree.
But I like how in the first one, because I feel like if it were a boxing movie, it'd be like, there's this Goyle he likes, but he's going to beat dudes up. Whereas me, being the sucker for love that I am, it was like, he loves this girl. You've seen
my manga.
The suckers that we are for love. It was so happy because when a story is written with love in mind, it's so much more rewarding because we're like, I hope nothing bad happens to them in their relationship, and then nothing bad happens.
Assassinating the mic.
I know. And then nothing bad happens, and then you're like, thank God, which is how I felt so many times where I was like, oh no, Adrian's going to be like, particularly in the second one, which we can jump around. But
right. I feel like with these double features, we always jump around anyways. I think it's fine.
Might as well.
Especially with these double features, it's more comparing and contrasting the two rather than...
Precisamente.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of Spanish for you. But like in the second one where I was like, oh no, is this going to happen? And then it didn't happen. Where I like that the stakes came from things that wouldn't jeopardize the relationship. Like it wasn't like Rocky's going back to boxing because it's all he feels like he knows how to do. And Adrian's like, well, I'm going to leave. It was more like, I'm upset, but I understand. I'm going to go in this coma real quick though.
Yeah, I would agree. And then after Adrian's introduction, we get to, like, we see like the or like him being a debt collector for Mr. Gazzo,
which also a great character.
Yeah, I like him a lot more than I think I would. I don't know. I've seen the movie so many times, so I'm trying to. And I was also an immature teenager the first time that I watched them.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think how much like I would regularly like a character like him, but it's a character like him is so ingrained in my thought process now because I like him so much. But I don't know. I really do like Mr. Gazzo. He's a great character. He really does support Rocky.
He does.
He's like he might be Rocky's boss, but like even after that time passes, he's still there for Rocky. He's still in the corner. He still shows up to the fight. He doesn't have to show up to the fight.
No, of course not. And he also doesn't... He very much could be like one of those people who was like a broke collector and it's like, Rocky, if you don't work for me, like what's going to happen to your family? And he's just like, cool, understandable, have a nice day.
Yeah. I think we can talk about more of the other characters later, but one thing that I'd like to point out for now, all of the characters are so flawed. but they're all good people. Like Mr. Gazzo might be a debt collector, but like, and he's just all like, Rocky, when you work for me, you got to maintain my reputation. Then bro goes out of his way to go to Rocky's fight.
Yeah.
Which is funny to me, because I don't feel like that first scene with Mr. Gazzo. Well, the first scene, yeah. The second scene where they're like outside of the car, and Mr. Gazzo's like, "How dare you not break that dude's thumb?
Yeah.
I needed you to do that to maintain my reputation." He did not maintain his own reputation.
No, not really.
every like most actions he takes towards Rocky, are just him being a kind person, despite his position and his job.
The nature of
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
what
he's
he does.
obviously not the best person on planet Earth.
No.
He's a gangster.
Yeah. In 1970 Philadelphia, 1975. So.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me, like how the characters can contrast, and I think that applies. Maybe less so to Rocky. I think Rocky's the only character who's he can't read and he's kind of dumb.
That's his flaw.
Yeah, those are his flaws.
Also,
but like he's not mean. He's not rude. He's not a grump.
He's so kind.
Yeah, he's just kind. Same with Adrian.
I agree.
They're both just kind, good, gentle people.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing that I really liked was when we're introduced to them, because like speaking of maybe not flaw, I love how when Rocky is in and we see Adrian for the first time, he's just yapping it up. He just does not stop talking to this lady who's like, yeah,
She's just shy.
And yeah, she's just shy, and whether he recognizes her or not, and he likes her so much that he's just gonna keep trying. I love that he just keeps yapping. He's like, I'm gonna get under her shell one day.
I like that too.
I love
like
it
that
so
a lot
much.
Too. I hate Mr. Gazzo's driver. He's just mean.
Yeah, that's the only flawed character.
Like, just genuinely flawed. There's nothing good about him.
All he has to do in the whole entirety of the series is just be antagonistic and just rude.
Yeah.
Like what he said to Adrian.
Yeah.
Or about her.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We cannot reproduce because it's heinous, but
it's...
fuck that guy.
I hate him. I know it didn't affect you that much, but when he called Rocky a meatbag, I put that on my nose. I was like, why do you have to do that? That meatbag's fucked up. I just think it's dehumanizing. Hate that driver. Driver sucks.
Worst guy in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Worst part about it. Well, he's not even in the second one, is he?
I don't think so.
Cool.
Gazzo is.
Oh, yeah. He's our main
A
guy.
couple of times.
He had to be.
Yeah. I also like the next two establishing points. The first one is when Rocky's like, hey, how do you spell Del Rio? It establishes he can't read or spell or write.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the first indication of it. It's not huge until the second movie, but like that is like the first instance. I didn't write down every instance, like the thumbs up motif from Fall Guy.
Every time Rocky can't read.
Every time he can't read.
Oh my god.
The Rocky can't read counter.
That's so good.
One, no.
Literally.
But no, I didn't write down every one, so unfortunately we can't do that. But I like how they establish it that way. Especially because the driver is just like, learn to read, as he drives by. Once again,
really?
him being a jerk. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't catch that either.
No, that's fair. That's fair. When you've watched these movies as many times,
I bet.
I'm not going to expect you to... You knew more about it than I thought you would have, truthfully. I was very impressed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Or it's probably just my insane predicting skills.
Could be. But yeah, and then the next thing is they establish Rocky is broke. And it makes sense, considering he was literally just yapping it up in the pet store. He barely bought anything. And you're not even sure if he paid. I'm pretty sure he paid.
No.
I swear I think he paid.
I wrote something down. He was like, they were like, you got to pay for those, Rocky. And he was like, oh, crime don't pay. And then I swear to fuck, he just turns around and leaves. I don't remember him pulling out anything.
I'm going to rewatch the movie again just to figure it out.
Yeah, maybe.
I swear he did. Why would they let him back in?
That's true.
I hope
it's like, Rocky, you can't keep doing this. He's like, what do you mean?
Crime don't pay, bro. Crime don't pay.
Oh
Crime don't pay. I swear. Crime don't pay. But like he just goes there he goes to the pet store to just kind of yap. So I guess that's kind of like the foreshadowing for it. But like the genuine hi, he's broke, is he can't pay for his locker anymore,
Yeah.
so Mickey puts all this stuff on Skid Row.
But I also wrote this down. I love how no matter what condition a man is, he's always going to have a beer
Yeah.
because his house was a mess and all that stuff. But as soon as he got home, he was like, I'm going to crack open a cold one,
Yep.
which, like, respect.
Me too.
Yeah.
Um,
What comes after that? Because for me,
that's when we meet Mickey.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we meet Mickey. We meet the one dude that he thinks is gonna like be better than Rocky. He has all the potential, and he's applying himself like that Rocky never did. I forgot what his name was. Don't care. He literally is only in that scene, I think.
Guppy or some shit? Probably not. Yeah. Anyway, neither
We'll
here nor
call him
there.
Guppy.
We'll call him Guppy.
Why not? But yeah, Guppy is a jerk. His one line of dialogue is, "I dig your locker, man." Like,
Yeah.
why? Why is that necessary?
Some of the comments at these, like Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. What are we doing here? Look at that guy.
There is no brotherly love.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Look at that guy. He's suffering. Loser. It's like, damn, dude, kicking him while he's down.
Yeah.
That's just the empath in me, though.
No, fair. That's fair enough. I love Mickey. I just love Mickey.
I have a love-hate.
Nah, that's fair. There are
Yeah.
some times where I'm all like, "You're the cranky jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are a grouchy, cranky jerk." And
But I can also see his
yeah.
great qualities.
I love. Yeah, it goes into that. Every character is flawed,
Mm-hmm.
and I love Mickey a lot.
And I feel like they bring out good in each other, too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Mickey and Rocky's relationship is so good.
of course.
So well written.
And they bring out different good in each other than, say, Rocky and Adrian.
Yeah, I
Or
agree.
like whatever two pairs or whatever. I'm not so sure about any groups of interactions, but at least
They don't
the
do a
duels.
lot of group interactions.
Yeah, but the duels are really,
Yeah.
really good.
Most of the movie's relationships, I think, are all dual.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that until just now.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, it works really well.
I agree.
It,
Like, even when it's Rocky, Paulie, and Adrian, we're mostly focusing on either Rocky and Paulie or Paulie and Adrian.
yeah, and Rocky's kind of there to just be like,
Yeah.
are
Like,
y'all
there
gonna
might
fight
be
the
a third
entire time?
character there, but they're still focused on the one-on-one.
Yeah, good point. Good
Yeah.
catch. Yeah.
Then he goes back to the pet shop, like on the way home. So he sees Adrian in the morning, and then he sees her on his way home, and I like that.
Yeah, he's a cute little lad.
Yeah.
He really likes her.
Yeah.
And I like how much
Buttkiss. That's when we meet Buttkiss.
Yeah.
Because she's feeding Buttkiss.
I love Butt Kiss.
I love Buttkiss. It's a perfect name.
It's a perfect name for
Perfect.
that type of dog too.
Yeah.
What is it? A Malamute? Mal. It's a big one. Watch the movie.
And then we meet Polly. That's his first introduction because he goes
Really?
to see Polly on his way home too.
Damn, you have this timeline up figured out a lot more than I do. I guess I was just jumping around a bit. Go on.
My notes for the second movie skip an entire 20-minute section, truthfully. So,
Fair enough.
well, we'll get to it, but I feel like a lot of what I had to say in the second movie was more about the characters, and at the point that I'm thinking of that I just didn't write a lot, I had already said what I wanted to say. But yeah. This is the first time I put down that I love that every character is flawed. It makes them real and much more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
He is a jerk, though.
He's a jerk. He's an
He's
alcoholic.
A lovable joke. He's a lovable jerk, I think.
He also for me is love hate. I feel like he definitely gets better in
I
the
feel like
second
a lot
one.
of the characters are meant to be love-hate.
I mean,
They're definitely not written to be.
they're not trying to hide flaws in any way, shape, or form. And I can only imagine, because that's something that was going through my head the entire time. I can only imagine the environment of platonic relationships, romantic relationships, kindness, and other social ethics of Philadelphia in 1975. Because we
That
are
is
quite
something we
literally
have to
the
consider a
farthest
lot.
thing from it,
Right.
both positionally and time period.
Yeah.
So that kind of made me be more like, yeah, all right, Polly's got these things. Like Polly drinking on the job and then cutting meat without gloves.
I drink on the job. Sometimes on my break, I go out to my car and I take a shot.
Okay. Respect. For me, it was more the fact that Polly was handling food without hands. But then again, it's
true,
the
too.
70s.
Yeah, the 70s,
They were probably smoking in that room, too, to be honest, getting smoke all over the food. I mean, none of the workers were wearing gloves. I noticed
true.
Rocky wasn't wearing them.
No.
And then the montage part 2, none of them wearing them.
Nope.
But, I mean, at least... Well, what does Polly have in the first one? Because in the second one, I'm like, yeah, Polly's at least Polly this. But in the first one, I'm kind of like, ugh.
He does try to help Rocky out, though that does kind of turn around later when he like takes the bat and starts trashing the house. But he does try to help Rocky out the whole movie.
That's true. In his own little way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the interviewers, right? He called the interviewers over, even though Rocky, Rocky had his reasons, but at the same time, it gave him a good bit of publicity.
It put publicity out there.
It came from a good spot.
Paulie was always trying to help. He was always in Rocky's corner. He is a very loyal and supportive person.
True.
He's just not a great person.
Yeah.
You'll see it more, like you mentioned, in the second movie, and we could talk more about how Paulie's changed then. You'll see it more as his character progresses throughout the series.
I'm excited for that.
The developments for every character are insane.
I love me a good saga.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited to watch all of them.
I know. That's why I'm happy we're spreading it out, and we're like, this is the Rocky series.
Dude, if we try to talk about 1 through Creed 3, like right now.
That would be too hard. What? We'd have to rent out this place for a full day?
Like 3 hours, probably.
Well, I think yeah.
When do we...
I know. I'm happy we're doing 2 at a time.
This is a good little chunk.
Yeah.
When do we meet Apollo? Are we almost there?
We have not met Apollo yet.
Sam. Who's after Apollo?
We're almost there.
Okay.
Because this is kind of still Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. After we met Polly, though, it's now nighttime, and that's when we meet Little Marie.
Oh, yeah. She's more important than meets the eye, it seems, because she wasn't in the second.
She's very important later.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay. You'll see. You'll think I'm crazy for a while, but you will see.
Yeah, because all the notes I had on that part was of this dude in his presumably 20s just projecting to a young girl.
You will see the fruits of those seeds, and they are very satisfying.
Oh, good.
And Marie's a very well-written character, and I'm excited for you to see those seeds.
Okay.
I'm not going to say when. Could be in the next rotation. Could be the rotation after that. Could be in Creed.
I'll never know.
There are, yeah.
No, I'll know soon.
Yeah, you'll know soon.
Enough.
But yeah, I think the Little Marie scene is important because he is projecting, like you mentioned. And because he is projecting, we get a glimpse into Rocky's life and his backstory. And if we take everything that he said and apply it to himself, that's his backstory.
Yeah, because... yeah, good point. Maybe he wasn't comfortable enough talking to... I mean, because clearly his peers would probably be like, pussy. But what's a child going to do? They're going to be like listening and being like, okay. So, yeah, maybe it was like the perfect opportunity for us as the audience to hear that from him, but also for him to be like, there's some things on my mind. Mm-hmm. Hey.
Yeah.
Good point.
And you're right. She kind of listened. She called him a creepo at the end and flipped him off.
Flip him off the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. But that scene is a lot more important than surface level.
I'm very happy to hear that.
I think even in that scene, because kind of like we just talked about, you just mentioned that you didn't think of it that way, but that's how I see that scene. And I think that's important. To establish Rocky's character and his backstory, and I like the way that they did it.
Right.
And it also shows how Rocky wants to help young people too.
Yeah, and like that theme of him being the people's person.
Yeah.
I like that it extends to all people.
That's the biggest theme, probably the first 2 movies. I think the 3rd and 4th have different themes.
Yeah.
Which again part of the reason why I was somewhat upset that we had to change the viewing order because I thought I woke up too late.
Oh, right. No, but yeah, I like that
But
it
the
extends
first two
to
movies are very,
all these demographics.
yeah, I agree. But I really appreciate that he is the people's champion, and that kind of like you touched on, even with the Little Marie scene with him helping her out, it establishes him. It establishes him as like the person people. Now I'm doing it. The person that people look to.
Yeah.
And that they listen to. And like everyone knows him, like you mentioned earlier. Like just the initial walking, like, hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, all these finger gun type feeling things. And also it kind of reminds me of like just the classic tales. For some reason I think of like a Greek tall tale. It might not be Greek at all, like ancient Grecian or whatever, but kind of someone who's like, oh, I'm gonna, like, it makes me kind of think of Hercules, which I've only seen the animated movie once, but for some reason it reminds me of this as someone who'd be like, hey, oh, I'm lifting this heavy box for this old lady to transport her. Oh, this kid's lollipop fell, so I'm gonna give him 5 coins so he can get a new one. It feels like that's the type of character that Rocky is, and it feels really good to be supporting him.
Character.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not a term. I just made it up.
It sounds legit. It sounds cool.
I like that. That is a great way to put.
Yeah. It was like, I love Rocky.
Because he's really strong too.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could lift a boulder. Yeah.
Oh, at the very least, a very big rock.
A very big rock. But yeah, then we meet Apollo Creed. And then after this scene, I would say is when Act 2 starts.
After he starts being chosen.
Yeah, because this is the scene where they're all like, all right, the guy you were going to fight pulled out. This is the bicentennial. Huge celebration on... Do you know what the bicentennial was?
Mm-mm.
It was the 200-year anniversary of our country, just in general, from the Declaration of Independence.
Oh.
And it wasn't just boxing. They had several events, all celebrating America. That's why he dresses up as George Washington.
Darts.
Maybe. I wouldn't know.
The bicentennial
I just know what the
badminton.
bicentennial is. I don't know what events were held.
Okay, fair enough.
There was obviously a boxing one. They made a movie about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole point of the bicentennial was to celebrate 200 years of America.
I see.
And again, that's why he is dressed up
I didn't
as
even pick
George
that up.
Washington.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you knew that. That's why I asked. So, it's the bicentennial. This is a big event. It will literally never come again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because even in 200 years, you're not celebrating the 200th anniversary. You're celebrating the 400th, and you won't be around for that.
Yeah, no.
I was like, maybe. So, this is truly, it's not even a once a lifetime. It's like a once every couple generational thing.
Yeah.
So I like that Apollo stakes. They're almost the same in both movies, but in this movie, his stakes are very simple. It's just he needs someone to fight, and he needs to make this an event. And and I like the solution of give a no-namer a shot at the title.
I agree. I wrote that down. I'm glad that you say that the reason is to give a no-namer a shot, because I couldn't recall exactly if it was in the positive or in the negative, because I just wrote down that he was choosing someone for the title because, the Italian stallion, that's something that you can be like, oh, it's gaudy, it catches your mind. So you saying that it was for good reason makes me happy, because for a second I was kind of like, oh, is this for, we're picking on the little guy, but
I never viewed that as Apollo's motives or what he's doing.
Okay.
I don't know if other people do, but me personally, I never felt like Apollo was just picking on Rocky in either movie.
Yeah, it kind of just felt like he was trying to put on a show for the bicentennial.
That's what Apollo cares about in both movies. He wants a show. And even in the way he fights in both movies, while he's more serious in the second movie, there are points in the second movie and almost all of the first fight, he's just a showman. He's like, come on, bring it. And then when he does a little this.
Yeah, his arms are all the way down and he's kind of just juggling around.
It is the people's champion versus the people's showman. He wants to make the people have fun, be entertained, make bang for their buck, if you will. They spend money to be there. They better get a good show.
Very fair. I'd probably feel that same way if I went to the bicentennial.
Right. And from the entrance all the way to the end of the fight.
Dude,
what Apollo
crossing the
does.
Delaware, that was crazy.
I'll comment on his entrance in the second movie later.
That's later.
But I do love his entrance in the first movie. It's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic. There's a reason that these movies are so beloved, and I think they age very well.
I agree, albeit at some points.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there. I know exactly what point you're thinking of because I'm also thinking of it. We literally,
yeah. But yeah, I liked Apollo's introduction. I agree.
Him. Yeah, and then we get Apollo Creed versus the Italian Stallion.
Yeah, the Italian.
I love the way you said that.
That was like a common thing lexically back then, and I'm curious as to why. As
saying like Italian?
Yeah, Italian or like. It would typically be, I think, in like southern accents and stuff around that. I'd have to do more research. Personally, I'm a really big fan of linguistics, and so I study that a lot in like certain little patterns and stuff. Guy. And so I've always been curious about that. I'll bring it back sometime. Maybe I'll post it on our threads or something.
Yeah, you need to start an Instagram thread since I still don't know.
I'm so excited to. Don't worry, I will.
That'll be your dabbling in the account managing side of things. But yeah. Oh, right. And after this scene, we kind of get the first date.
Oh, yeah. Before we even get to the first date, though, I would like to talk about how, it was really funny how Polly's been like, yeah, she's so excited to see you. My sister's really excited to see you. And then you can literally see on her face, though, what the fuck is he doing here? Yeah. and it's so funny. But then Polly throws out the fucking turkey.
Dude, that was the scene I wanted to talk about first, too. Adrien is so nice. Like you said, you literally see the on her face.
I adore her. Yeah.
Ends up marrying the man. So funny.
Mm-hmm.
But like Polly's a dick.
He's a piece of shit.
That is like his most. No. The later scene is worse.
But this one was like established, really like in my gut feeling, like I felt it in my stomach and my bones. I was like, why'd you throw away the turkey?
Yeah.
Like, I see what you were trying to do for her.
And then he kept the leg and ate it. I was just like, what?
Fucking asshole. Which I see what he was trying to do for Adrien, but he could have been like...
He would have been way
He could have placed it on the table, it clearly not ready, and be like, oh, it's ready. Nom, 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 so good. And more heartfelt, which would have made sense for his character. So that's why it makes sense that he did what he did. But in a parallel universe where Polly didn't have those problems and had,
Yeah.
Just for Adrien.
Yeah, I agree. And then he just kind of forces her out.
Yeah.
So she seemed like she wanted to go by the time
she opened the door
already in her little cute hat and sweater.
Yeah.
Her probably 3 sweaters.
Yeah, all at once.
Yeah.
They were saying it was like 28 degrees at one point.
Yeah.
And the show was like...
And he just wears a leather jacket everywhere.
Yeah, a leather jacket and that hat.
Yeah, that beautiful, beautiful hat. Yeah, and then I love the ice skating scene.
I do too.
Yeah.
We learn even more about him, I think.
Mm-hmm. I know I told you it was supposed to be on Rockefeller Center with a bunch of extras all skating around Adrien and Rocky, and would zoom in on their conversation. I love and way prefer that there is only 10 minutes that they're allowed on the ice, and it's just them.
Agreed.
I think that's way better than having a bunch of people and being in Rockefeller Center.
And I think what makes that scene more novel is the fact that the guy was like, $10 for 10 minutes, and Rocky was like, oh, you're yanking my chain, but I like this girl a lot, so I'm going to pay $10 for 10 minutes, and I'm going to give her a good time on the ice, because I heard she loves to ice skate. Yeah. I loved it. I love that scene so much. Mm-hmm. And at one point he says, she's like, why do you box? And he says, well, I can't sing or dance. And he's just keeping it real. Yeah. And we're learning more about him. And, like, not only his lack of belief in himself, but also he's like, yeah, I guess, realistic. Not to say he's incapable of other things, but while he thinks that of himself, at least, he has a good outlook about it.
Yeah. He's always positive.
Mm-hmm.
he keeps it real, and he's always positive. And while he might not believe in himself, he doesn't let that bring him down.
Yeah.
Which I really like. I also love watching him jog on the ice, trying to keep up with Adrienne as she
It's so
speeds
funny.
up. Yeah. I wrote down in my notes, it's the scene, and you'll know why in the future. I was supposed to skip this note, but I chose not. I'm choosing not to. The scene where she is leaning on, like, the brick wall after the date, and they go home. They go to Rocky's home.
And he's trying to get her to go inside.
Yeah. And she's leaning on the brick, on the bricks. You'll see why it is the scene in my mind.
For the whole series? For the whole saga?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just like, yeah, there's several scenes where I'm like, you know?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio meme. But, like, but that is probably, yeah, that's a big one for me. That scene comes back, crazily enough, as it seems so insignificant. It's very important for later, in a later movie. But yeah, then we get to the scene that we alluded to earlier.
One of the
ones that did not age well.
Yeah, no.
It was a little hard to watch. It's always hard to watch.
Agreed.
But when, like,
First off, it started off for me with come inside. No, I'm gonna go home. No, come inside.
Which that makes sense to me. I feel like that's banter.
Like
I feel that happens
first
regularly.
3, but then when he got to, like, I didn't actually count, but, like, if you gotta switch hands to count the amount of times you have to try to tell someone to come into your docile, I feel like no means no.
I feel like on a first date.
In particular, absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also regular for a first date.
Yeah.
I know for some of my first dates, there was a come inside moment and an initial reluctance, and then after a second or third try, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's a good time.
And I guess it's also that 70s riz.
Yeah.
That we just don't know nothing about.
Yep. Because, yeah, I'm sure back then that was not as problematic.
He was probably just a super fly guy.
Yeah.
Even when he was trying to kiss her. And you don't have to kiss me back made me go, oh.
Yeah. I'm sure that was romantic at the time.
One can hope.
I'm sure that was Bridgerton at the time.
Literally Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah. But yeah, and when she first gets in there, it's obvious she's a little uncomfortable. But as it goes on, and then she's like, "I need to go home." Once she gets inside and says she needs to go home, let her leave.
Yeah.
And then he didn't really.
He blocked off the door.
What's she gonna do against him? He
Literally.
can fold so many people.
Literally.
Like, she's not gonna be able to get past him.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah. And like you said, the kiss, the first kiss, it ends on a good note at least, because she does consent.
That's the best part.
Yeah, she does consent. It's just uncomfortable getting to that point. And the scene does not age well.
No.
I don't know if I change it though, because again, 70s.
Yeah.
If I made the movie today, I wouldn't include that. But because it is a 70s movie, I don't know. If I was in the 70s, I don't think I'd change it. But if I made it today, I think I would change it.
Yeah.
If I'm Sylvester Stallone existing in 2 different eras.
Yeah. But everything turns out well. So
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. We talked about it. I was just like, I'm going to choose to appreciate it for what it is.
Right.
Simply because it doesn't end on a problematic note. It's mostly the middle. I think the beginning and the end aren't that problematic, and the middle is just really hard to watch.
Yeah, agreed.
But since it doesn't end badly.
Yeah. What do you have next? Because right after that, I have something about Mickey's interaction.
Me too.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, because after this, the announcement is made. The Italian stallion accepts the fight.
Right.
And Mickey wants to train Rocky.
Oh, that's right. Rocky had no one behind him first.
Yeah. He was just going to train by himself. And I put down that Mickey has good intentions. He's just a mean, grumpy old man.
He's a mean, grumpy old man, but I feel like I could see where Rocky was coming from, where he said a bunch of things like, 10 years I asked you for help and you ain't give me nothing.
That yeah,
I really, really liked how Rocky was chewing him out.
I don't blame Rocky for being mad at all in the slightest. I'm
Hell no.
definitely 100% Rocky's corner in that argument.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I do think Mickey is Rocky's best trainer.
Oh, absolutely. He's the type of guy you need.
Yeah.
Like,
Mickey is the guy to train Rocky. There's no one else that I think
all that
could
fucking
possibly
joik,
train.
Goyle, Perfect. It's like that's the type of guy I want fucking teach me how to box.
Right. He's a mean, grumpy old man, but he is the best possible choice especially for someone like Rocky.
Of course.
Yeah.
I agree. But I was very appreciative.
Haha, I got a call in the middle of it, and I muted my phone. Look
Yes,
at that. Smart.
progress.
Smart. It's not going off in the middle. Don't gotta hear my Halo ringtone. And then after this, we get to Polly's worst scene.
Oh, it's right here?
Yeah. Because you were all like, oh, they're hanging out. Because they're watching Apollo's news.
Well, before we get to that, we get to another little, his first little bit of training montage, which if you don't have anything, I just want to touch on a little bit, because when it came in, it was like, I don't know, presumably 4 a.m. or something in the dead of winter. And it's just the music that played. It felt like a melancholy, but not like Rocky was doomed or anything. It kind of it gave me the feeling of uncertainty. And there were a few points with the soundtrack, maybe like a handful of times. I wasn't super wowed by it consistently, but there were times where I was like, the storytelling that is happening with this lack of dialogue. I feel like that's when whoever's writing music really was like, I'm gonna come in because this is my time, and they executed it so well. It kind of felt like noir, like
Bill
that's the way. Good on him.
Yeah.
If it just felt really good, and yeah. Oh yeah, and then even before we get that one Polly scene, we have the scene where he's in and he's punching all the meat.
Yeah, that's right. I guess I did skip a couple of scenes. I think it was because it was all stuff that I commented on.
Yeah. I also only remember it because I have a note that says, I love the random moo. as he's walking through, he just goes, moo. And, yeah.
Oh, fair.
But then, give or take, all that
Rocky,
stuff.
Since Rocky fights unorthodoxly, I love that he trains the same way.
Yeah, agreed.
He does not have an orthodox training method. It's weird.
He invented it.
Yeah.
He invented punching.
Oh, I invented it.
Yeah. But then right after is where we get Polly's, worst moment. One of.
Yeah. No, this is definitely his worst. Okay. I don't think it gets worse than this.
That's good to know. Okay.
Well, I mean, already in the second movie,
that's true.
He's better.
That's true.
And he just gets better as a person.
Yeah.
In general, as the series progresses, and his final movie, because there's a 30-year time skip between the ending of Rocky 5 and the start of Creed, and then obviously a movie in between that. Yeah. But even then, there's like 10 years in between those movies, and people age and people die. So unfortunately, when we get to Creed, we're not going to see everyone.
Yeah.
The way Rocky handles deaths is really good, and you'll see that. Okay. And I would say that it is my least favorite way to kill a character, and yet Rocky makes me love the way they do it. So obviously I can't tell you either of those.
Well, now I know he dies.
Huh?
Now I know he dies.
I mean, I think Rocky's dead now too.
What?
He's not in Creed 3. You didn't know that?
No.
Whoops. Yeah, he's not in Creed 3. That was like the huge controversy around Creed 3.
I see.
They didn't include Rocky. In my mind, he's dead. He does not die on screen.
Well, good thing it sounds like Paulie has a redemption, because I feel like
from now to his final appearance, he could appear in Creed. I don't know.
I don't like how he turns like what I feel like he's just disappointed in his own faults. And
yeah, because this was after the meeting, trains in the meat locker. Then they did the interviewer thing, and he twists that.
And paired with being an alcoholic, and I can assume he got home like under the influence, because like why else would you?
He looked drunk.
Bring a bat out and like start smashing up and trashing your own apartment because you're just projecting onto your friend. Oh yeah, his house. He has a home.
Yeah, that he pays bills for. I'm pretty sure Adrian pays bills for too.
She
but he
does
likes
too,
to.
and I like that she was giving him shit.
Yeah.
She was just letting him have it
That
as she
scene
should
is
have.
so cathartic for me because Polly is awful.
Yeah, and it's good that of all people, it was one of the times that it was Adrian to be like, no, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And
I
here's
agree.
why: you make me feel like a loser. You do all these things.
Yeah, and I think it's Rocky that brings that out of her.
I
don't
agree.
think she would have done that before being with Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more of like what we talked about earlier, the good coming out of both
of
of
course.
them.
And I like when she says, "Do you want a roommate?"
Yeah, I was about to steal it from you.
One of my favorite quotes.
That one was really funny. You need a roommate? Loved that. But no, Polly did good. Polly did do good. But twisting that good, he got exactly what he deserved for that.
Agreed.
And everything that he did. And I think it's at that moment that he starts being better.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, again, it's really hard for it to get that low again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But my like for Polly comes from the fact that happens, and instead of just getting worse, he reacts by getting better.
Mm-hmm.
It's character growth instead of character deconstruction. Which character deconstruction can be really good if the character is already was already a good person and well liked. But since Polly is awful, don't make him worse.
Don't make an awful person worse. Yeah, good
don't make
point.
an awful person worse. And I already by the end of the Rocky 1, I can see how he changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rocky 2, he just becomes an even better person. I can't think of one bad thing he did in Rocky 2.
Polly in Rocky 1 is like this, and then Polly in Rocky 2 is like this.
Yeah, I agree.
But right after, I don't know if you have anything else, but right after is when we have the song, when we have the training montage.
It's happening!
It's happening!
I quoted you.
I was so
It's happening
excited.
in quotes
from
you.
It's the Rocky theme.
It's iconic. It's the most iconic part of probably the franchise.
I would think so.
The one in the second movie, which plays the same song, is more iconic for me personally.
Yeah, because of the kids,
But we do have
at
the top of the steps. And that's iconic. I put down that the scene is just perfect. Fly Now is just such a great song in general.
And it's the OG training montage.
Yep.
We looked this up in the middle. It's
Yep.
the OG training montage where everyone was like, "You want a training montage?" It's because Rocky.
Plus, training montages are just cool.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think there was a point in my life where I was just all like, training montage cliche. But now I look back on them and I'm like, no, they're just fun. They're cool.
Fun.
They're very important.
And it's a great way to just introduce and time skip.
Yeah, I agree. Because we just skip to the fight after this.
Yeah, no, literally right after.
Yeah, me too.
I wrote that in, he looks a little nervous, which understandably so.
Yeah, but I just really like training montages because we as the audience, they need to establish the fact that it is possible that this character beats this other character, that Rocky beats Apollo, and we need to believe that that's possible and that he worked for it. Otherwise, it's not satisfactory.
Of course.
And it doesn't mean anything.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
Like if he just won, if Rocky just won, it wouldn't mean anything. If he just lost, it also wouldn't mean anything because we didn't see Rocky prepare or train.
Other than the
if
montage.
anything, him winning if there was no training montage would be a disservice.
Yeah, it wouldn't be rewarding.
Like, how the hell did he win? That's not even possible. And the movie wouldn't be as good. But we saw him train, we saw him work for it, and he still loses at the end of the first movie. And I'm heartbroken, kind of, that he loses in the first movie, but at the same time, it makes sense, and I prefer that he loses.
Yeah, like, as much as
I wouldn't want a franchise if he won in the first movie.
And I also like that even as the underdog. Do you want any, by the way?
Yeah.
As the underdog, you can have an underdog and you can root for an underdog, but you can still have them lose because I feel like the reward comes from the fact that you can't take away from Rocky the fact that he's like a bomb from Philadelphia and he fought in this fictitious world like one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You cannot take that away from
I
him,
agree.
even if he lost. And he went the fucking distance.
Yeah, he did. All 15 rounds.
Which
Both
is
times.
15 fucking rounds of a beatdown, dude.
Yeah.
So even if he lost, he won.
I agree. So yeah, here we are. The first climax, the first big fight. I think it's crazy. I love the first fight. I love Apollo's entrance.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't lose those, and I know he doesn't do one in the second movie, but I will explain that point later when we get to his entrance in the second movie. Because
Okay.
I still think his lack of a George Washington over-the-top-esque entrance is very important. And his entrances being iconic, I will convince you that his non-iconic entrance is still good and still very well written and very,
I thought it was
I
still good.
personally believe, very, very purposeful choice to not give him another George Washington entrance. But I love that.
I mean,
George
I would
Washington.
agree.
Yeah.
Which we can elaborate
Yeah.
on.
But once again, the people's showman. That is the moment that Apollo shows truly that he is there to give the people a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes around. He's George Washington. He's crossing the Delaware. Wow,
Crazy.
wow, throwing out all the money. So I love his entrance. So already the fight is just kind of elevated, just because it's cool.
Yeah.
We're at a cool moment, and I love that.
It's a little bit of a show. You're getting to see people punch each other, but also you're seeing showmanship.
Yeah, I agree. I love the sportsman. Well, wait, no. Next part of the fight was suddenly Joe Frazier.
Oh yeah,
It
dude.
was so shocking.
That was fucking crazy.
Not the only celebrity cameo in the series. Crazy to me that it's in the first movie that they got the Joe Frazier.
Literally.
My papa has a poster for the Muhammad Ali Joe Frazier fight. I think the second one. I don't remember exactly which one. It's been a while since I've seen it. But he has one of those posters, so I know exactly who Joe Frazier is just from that poster alone. And then obviously I've did my research on the fight.
Yeah, no, I was writing my notes for whatever we had been on at that previous point, which I mean, they're here, but anyway. And I remember hearing Joe Frazier, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah, I remember you
fucking
typing
Frazier?
and then stopping.
Yeah. But I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
I appreciated
No, it was
it.
cool. I agree too. I love, acknowledging the real people that are part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the real boxers that are part of this real sport in this fictitious world. But yeah. And the first round is really fun. Rocky knocks out Apollo.
Oh,
or
yeah, in the
knocks
first
down, not
round.
knocks
I
out.
forgot that.
Knocks him down. And they literally were just saying, and these are my next two notes, actually. The announcers were like, he's never been knocked down. And Rocky knocks him down round one. And then round two, Rocky earlier in the movie was telling Adrian, "Oh, my nose, you see this nose?
It's never been broken." And then he gets broke his nose. Yeah.
Both of these, and since they don't share a lot of screen time in the movie together, a lot of their screen time is just separate. This is a good way to establish their rivalry. They did the things to each other that have never been done by anyone else prior.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Those are my next two notes just on the fight, because that elevates the fight even further from the cool entrances. Even further, I'm so excited because I want to see how this turns out. Every single time I watch this, my eyes are always glued on the screen, so I don't have a lot of notes on the fight.
Oh, me neither. Other than
just because they're so good. They're so good, and I literally can't take notes because my eyes will not leave the screen. And I've seen them so many times.
I have the same gripe with the first fight and the second fight, but it was just a lot more obvious in the second fight.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about it on the second fight a lot more.
We'll save it for then. I know exactly what it is, obviously.
Because for the second fight, I was literally like...
Yeah.
So...
My next note for the fight is the cut me scene grosses me out every time.
That shit was crazy.
It grosses me out every time. I don't know if that was like fake blood. It doesn't look like blood at all, truthfully.
No, hell no.
Either way,
But
it's still nasty.
Thinking about someone doing that,
Yeah.
that's metal as fuck.
Cut me. Like, and you can see it's still swollen in the second movie.
That's some Far Cry shit. Where you like kill yourself by relocating your finger or whatever.
Me after getting shot in the leg in Far Cry and taking a bullet out of my arm to heal
Yeah,
it.
just Get off.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was like. It was insane. It was intense.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, all that blood being out of that pocket, and then he got to see again. Permanent eye damage until it's healed.
Permanent,
Temporary.
but not for long.
But sorry, yeah, I didn't mean temporary. But like, and it's still there during the second fight. Like that's a thing he has to overcome. But yeah, and then my next 4 and final notes for the movie are all on the ending. So is there anything else about the fight?
No, not really.
No?
I was
Okay.
kind of just admiring.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I did most of the last 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, it's so good.
Agreed.
It's just a genuinely good. It's so well
It's a
choreographed.
battle.
Yeah, and I think the second one's way more brutal.
Agreed.
But we'll talk about that more.
The second one, yeah, was more fleshed out.
So yeah, I love that all of the people there came out to support Rocky for one. I pointed that out. Like, yeah, because we saw Gazzo in the crowd reacting. We saw Adrian, Paulie, etc. Everyone that like Rocky interacted with in the movie was there.
Yeah.
Maybe not Little Marie, but that's her only scene in the movie. So
I see.
like I don't think she's there. But my point being is, Rocky is the people's champion.
The people's champion.
And the people that came to support him, it shows right then and there. And even in the second movie, everyone's all like, "You lost to Apollo Creed."
oh yeah, they were chewing him the fuck
Yeah,
out.
people were all like, "No, Rocky won that fight. He won the people in that moment, in that fight, in that finale." And I love that when the judges are saying who won, you missed it because we were more focused on Adrian and Rocky, because that's what the movie's about.
Oh yeah, I was really excited
Rocky
when
doesn't even care.
I wasn't caring. I was like, she said she loves him.
Yeah, and you missed that the judges announced Apollo won.
I
But,
did. This is
yeah.
true.
Which is fine, because at the end of the day, that part is the backdrop, and especially in that moment, the movie 100% wants you to focus on Rocky and Adrian, as it does for the whole movie, pretty much. But Rocky 1 is just a classic.
Yeah,
I
I
will
really
say
enjoyed
now,
it.
I will put it in S tier, probably above Fall Guy. That will be the top of my S tier.
Okay, hold on. Gotta write that down for future.
I'll also, when we get to the end, I'll remind you, because I already know where Rocky 2 is going.
For
But-
me, I'm gonna give it an A+ tier.
Okay. Oh, you're making a new tier.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to say no. I was just shocked.
No, I thought it was really good, but because it was a classic and in all these moments, and I think it was the second one that made me emotional, where I almost maybe cried. So, okay, so for that reason, I'll give this one an A tier.
Okay.
And I'll give.
Do you not have S+? Plus?
I do.
Oh, okay. All right. Rocky 2.
It's fine.
Our second movie. For
Already
this...
an hour in the app, so
Yeah.
got plenty of room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow, we're doing really good on time. I love ignoring the first, 5-7 minutes where they just rehash, not even rehash, copy and paste the finale of Rocky 1.
No, literally, they did Control-C, Control-V.
Yeah. I think that makes sense, because this was 79.
It was 3 years after, right?
Yeah. 76 to 79. But they probably didn't have DVD players. So this was a
Hell
good
no.
recap for people who saw the first movie in theaters and then saw this one in theaters.
Yeah.
We watched them back to back, so
Yeah.
that doesn't matter to us.
At this point, I've been on my ass for like 5 hours.
Really?
Yeah. Four
At this
hours.
point right here?
4 hours with the movies. We're already an hour into the pod.
Okay. I thought you meant at the point that we started
Or
watching
no,
the second one, and I was like,
Yeah, no, here.
I was all like, what was he doing before coming over? I thought he woke up late.
Yeah. I like the ambulance intro.
Yeah.
Right after the fight. It just felt cool. I was kind of telling this to you, but paired with the music, I kind of felt like we're losing him.
Yeah.
And just like a
It was
fun
intense.
little
I never
scene.
thought of it that way. So I like that a lot.
Which nobody said that at all, and I'm sure he was just like, "Ow!"
No, but it did make it more intense.
Yeah, exactly.
And I could get those vibes even without those words being said. A lot of, I notice, Rocky's storytelling is just kind of implied. It's not always outright said. Like, him not being able to read and write is not explicitly stated until the end of the commercial scene, and you are only meant to infer it up until that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, like, even then, maybe they were losing him.
Maybe
they didn't have
were.
to say.
Yeah.
Oh, I skipped one part of the first movie. Just go into this implied storytelling. Rocky was nervous to the point that he goes out the night before the fight. He goes to the ring and he like looks at the ring and everything.
Yeah.
What a perfect way to show this man is nervous, and not once is it stated.
Yeah. He's
No one ever says, "I'm nervous." He's nervous. Nothing like that. Nothing. There's nothing along the lines of, "I'm scared. I can't." He does kind of say that he can't do it to Adrian, but like.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, but in my mind, him just standing in the ring all alone, and then the commentator, or not the commentator, like the showrunner, I guess, the guy hosting the event, was just all like, because like he pointed out that his trunks were wrong. They had the colors inverted. It's supposed to be white on red, not red on white.
Do you know that fun fact?
No.
It's because the like effects team or the graphic design team or whatever just messed it up.
Oh.
And so Sylvester just changed the script up and was like, "Oh, why don't I just mention it? Why don't I just poke at it really quick?"
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. That's cool. Okay.
Same thing with the robe.
Yeah. I knew about the robe one. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite facts. Mm-hmm.
I love that you knew so much about this movie despite not seeing it.
Yeah.
But I just think I love the way they do their storytelling in Rocky, especially with the implied storytelling. And in that scene, that is the best way to show someone's nervous.
Of course. Especially because he's kind of just looking around and he's not like, but he's still kind of like, oh.
Yeah. This is the big leagues.
That's me up there. I have a robe. I have all this. Yeah, big leagues, exactly.
This is not regular at all. Like, he didn't earn it.
Yeah, true.
He was given a shot that no one in the universe will probably ever get ever again, because it's never been done before.
Yeah.
That's why it was so big. That's why it gave Apollo Creed the show that he was trying to put on. But anyways, just a little tack on, since we were talking about the implied storytelling that they do. I love that the press wasn't leaving Rocky alone. That was just fun. I don't have a lot of commentary on that. I just think when they get to the hospital and the press is just all like...
I like how... I have a few notes on that just because Rocky's attitude feels so much like, dude, what is your problem? Are you not tired? Because he's kind of just like, no, I think he won. And he just felt so tired. But I like that right before... I don't know if it's right before or right after when Rocky goes to Creed's room and he's like, did you give me your best?
It's after that.
Okay, it's after. Yeah. I like that Creed was like,
when they first get to the hospital and Creed changes his mind on the rematch.
True.
That's my next note. I like that Apollo switches up on the rematch because he says there ain't going to be no rematch in the initial fight and after the hospital ride or the ambulance ride. He's all like, I'll fight him any place, anytime, anywhere.
Oh, yeah. He says it like 4 times.
Yeah.
In 10 seconds or something.
And he's all like, you're a chump, you know that? I'll fight you anytime, anywhere. And he's all like, Apollo, you said there ain't going to be a rematch.
Yeah.
I like that the first 2 movies is this Apollo Creed duology. 2 movies is perfect.
Agreed.
And that's why I really like he loses in the first one.
Yeah.
Whether you personally feel if he won or lost, he's still, the record shows that Balboa lost the first fight.
Yeah. Which, like we said before, it works out. It makes sense. I wouldn't have wanted him to win.
I agree. It would have been cathartic if there was not.
If he had been like
movies afterwards,
or if he had been trading for like his whole life,
right?
And like, the
story wasn't about winning.
He was gonna make it big one day, but then he had an accident.
Yeah,
it's not like one of those.
It's not one of those. No, it's a very different story.
It's
a story that I think is very hard and nearly impossible to replicate.
No, of course.
But yeah, so the second movie opening with Apollo switching up. Like, I still feel falls under that showmanship that he likes to do, because he's all like, I didn't win that fight. He didn't feel like he won that fight. He says it later in the movie, but I'm gonna bring it up now. I won the fight, but I didn't beat him.
Yeah.
Such a great line.
Agreed. I really like that.
And that's what this rematch is immediately set up to be. Like, this is the end-all, be-all. There ain't going to be no split decision. There isn't going to be a draw. It's going to be a win
someone's
by
gonna
knockout.
win. Yep.
So I really like that.
Yeah.
Then is that scene you were talking about when they go to the room. I didn't have anything for that, so.
Oh. Well, yeah, I didn't either. Other than Rocket being like, "Did you give me your best?"
Yeah.
And Creed said, "Yeah." I like that.
I do like that, too.
That he gave him his own.
Yeah. And they don't hate each other.
No.
They're like, it's such a well-written rivalry. Because they
Agreed.
don't seem, there's no hard feelings. And literally all these characters have done together up until this point is punch each other.
Yeah, or like bicker with the press.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that
And I think we get to see the real Apollo Creed in that moment, too. Because most of the time, Apollo Creed is definitely a personality as well.
He's just a businessman, too.
Yeah.
He's thinking about his business, about the show.
Yeah.
About the fight.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of his scenes is just appealing to people to give them a good show.
Truth.
So in this scene where there isn't that, we just get to see a glimpse.
Yeah.
Because we got to focus a lot more on Apollo's character in this one, too.
That very rare moment where it's just him and Rocky.
Yeah.
And it's where it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's all we needed.
Outside of a fighting ring.
That's all
or
we
a press
needed.
conference. Yeah, I agree.
And then they get married.
No, proposal first.
Oh, well, of course. If you wouldn't mind marrying me.
Yeah. Was almost my quote. That's yours, right? This week?
I don't think so.
No?
Oh, wait, it is.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
I was all like, I thought you said it was. Give the impression that we were talking about.
The impression.
We said that we were both going to impersonate our quotes when we get to them.
Oh, we did?
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind marrying me too much.
I love that. It's so good. Did you already forget?
Yeah.
We literally talked about it, like, walking up here.
That's all I have for that, honestly, though.
I want to propose to someone, like Rocky proposes to Adrian.
Yeah, oh yeah, you mentioned that.
For my future wife, if you were watching this, I am proposing to you like this, and you are not stopping me. So stop dating me, if you don't want that, because I ain't gonna buy it. I'll buy a ring later, but I will propose
In front of a tiger at the zoo.
Yeah. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind marrying me too much. I love that line.
It's so cute.
It's so good. It's great.
That's so him.
And I like the wedding. And I like
Agreed.
the walk home where he carries
Her
Adrian
all the
probably
way.
all the way from the
Yeah,
church.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the acapella group that you liked a lot.
Oh, dude, what did I say? Oil Barrel Fire acapella group.
They're cute.
They were really, really good musicians, too.
I know.
I'm
I
sure
like
they
them a
hired
lot.
like an actual acapella group, but
Probably, maybe. I don't know. And then I pointed out that the apartment is so much cleaner now,
yeah,
which I think is cute.
it's like it's the woman's touch.
Yeah. And I think it was at this point that I realized that the second one is just as much about Rocky and Adrian as the first one was. It's no longer a love story because they're literally married now, but it's about their new life and how they now exist in the same place and how they're going to move on from that first initial fight.
Yeah.
And it's everything that was gained from the first movie and that fight. They got a house, they got a car, like
Which, a little parallel to that, I would like to mention that when, like, I was happy for him, but I was also definitely nervous for him for his spending habits because I was like,
yeah,
you got a car, you got a jacket, you got the watches, you got, and then right after it happens that he needs to.
He does sell the car to Paulie.
He had to sell the car. He got fired from the meat shop because the commercials weren't working.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he only worked for Shamrock because the commercials didn't work out.
Precisely, but I feel like if he had
And then he got fired from the Shamrock.
I like that Adrian was trying to be the sense of reason, be like, do we need this car? Do we need a watch?
Yeah.
But I
But
think
she's still shy and timid, so.
But also, I feel like it's necessary for Rocky to have done that because of the fact that, I mean, I know me personally. Like, if I were in his position, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I've always wanted a car.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to watch.
It was $200,000 that he won in today's
In modern
money.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, you had $200,000. I mean, if I did, I know for a fact I'd buy a new car. Oh wait, I did. Where do you think I got the money for the Garvmobile?
Exactly. So, but yeah, that's all I really had on that. Other than fucking, what did I say? Oh yeah, training montage part 2, which is just him working at the meat spot.
Yeah. I love the commercial scene.
Elaborate.
I think well, yeah, this shows like his first hiccup because Rocky, he just won, or he didn't win, but he just fought Apollo Creed, went the distance with the champion, and now he's trying to venture out into like this new world to make money this way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out, and this is like and he just spent all this money, and it's such a good roadblock.
True,
It's
because
not
I
even
feel
like
like
a bump; it's just a genuine block.
because maybe he was trying to get into the other side of like what Apollo was doing,
Yeah.
like with the showmanship, and it wasn't him.
It's not Rocky.
And Adrian tells him that too, which I really like.
Yeah, me too.
She says he
They're
looks
so
stupid
good for each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank
you so much.
Like at this point in the movie, everything Rocky does, like from here to working for Shamrock, they're genuine blocks to keep him down the road of fighting Apollo Creed again.
Yeah.
It's showing that this is truly all that Rocky knows.
Yeah.
He for better or for worse cannot do other things.
Yeah.
Rocky is a boxer and he will forever have to box.
Which, I mean, can be a good thing. Like, I feel like in the light of the movie, not to say that this is what you're saying, but just like to kind of elaborate on that. Because I like you bringing that up. You can be a professional, like there are plenty of professional athletes these days who train and get paid to beat people up, and they do it for years and years and years, and then they retire, and then it's like, yeah, I did that sport.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where I feel like Adrian, after being like, win for us, Rocky, or all I want you to do is win, you know, I think that helps Rocky kind of get in. Hopefully, maybe I'll see, this will be proven or confirmed or denied of him becoming a boxer for real.
Yeah.
Like becoming an athlete.
Well, he is the champion after the second movie.
Yep.
But my next note is that I love how, and to kind of add on to the Adrian thing, because like Adrian doesn't want him to do it.
No. Reasonably so.
Not until the end of the movie. But I love how these movies touch on the issues of boxing and like how the characters feel about Rocky fighting. Not just Adrian, but also Paulie, because Paulie constantly encourages it. Apollo was trying to get Rocky to get back in the ring. Mickey thinks he shouldn't do it, at least at first.
Yeah.
But like every character has a different reason and a different viewpoint. Or even if like the overall viewpoint of yes fight, no fight is the same, they have Mickey's reasoning is you can't win when you're hurt with your eye. Adrian's is I don't want you to get worse. I just don't want to see my husband just get beat the fuck up.
Potentially
and
get
Paulie's
blind.
is you can get so much money out of this shit.
Yeah.
So go fight. So I love that. Every character is different, and even the characters that agree have different reasons.
And the people who don't want him to fight, that's very reasonable. People have died in this sport,
Yeah.
or like have had, you know, TBIs and stuff. So TBI.
Yeah.
Yeah, TBIs.
And then speaking on that note as well, Apollo's people don't want him to fight Rocky.
Yeah, they're like, why do you want to go
that's
back?
the next scene. And we get to see more of Apollo and how he interacts with his people in his corner, and just get more of Apollo's character, because it's more important this time. The stakes for Rocky are higher, so they have to higher Apollo's stakes as well, and that's what they spend Apollo's very limited pre-fight screen time doing. They show his kids for the first time.
That's right.
They're getting harassed. He's getting death threats, like "go kill yourself."
Yeah.
Like that one letter from what he said, the UK.
Which I
think.
feel like in the 70s was said a lot less than it was these days.
Probably.
So
Yeah. So that probably means a lot more back then. But yeah, like Apollo's stakes are heightened just like Rocky's are. And and everyone is telling Apollo not to fight. Apollo's the only person who wants to fight Rocky.
No, literally.
Yeah, when it comes
even
to like
Rocky,
Apollo's corner.
it seems like Rocky was really putting in the effort to steer away from that for
Yeah.
Adrian, for himself maybe, but he was putting in the work.
Yeah, he really did try to avoid it. He did multiple other career options that just did not work out. And it's in that scene, like, because Duke can't even say, like, Apollo's all like, "Do you think I won?" And Duke does not answer for the rest of the scene.
Nope.
He literally what he says is that, like, that man was a beast who went the distance with the champion. Imagine what he can do with actual training.
Yeah, he danced around it.
Yeah, because he doesn't. I think Duke thinks Apollo lost.
Props.
Yeah, you would say you beat him, but he can't. He can't tell Apollo that he won, because he doesn't believe that Apollo won. And that's when Apollo says that I won, but I didn't beat him line, which I
Really great quote.
love so much. It's so good. Like, yeah.
Quick little check on the time. We are at hour 20.
We still have half hour.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I booked a 2-hour block this time because we have a double feature.
Sounds good.
The same block I did last time for singles.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're smart.
That's my job.
Okay, sounds good.
It's my end of things. The next scene is... No, I skipped. This was the chunk of time that I didn't really care too much to note on, because it was just more of Rocky just trying to find work, not finding work. And then he accepts the fight.
Yeah.
I didn't even take notes on the scene where he talks to Mickey about fighting. Right before this, the one that I have my next note on.
I literally just read that it makes Rocky emotional, that he gets the support.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about, yeah. But I do love that Mickey is just like, well, he doesn't really want to let him fight Apollo. He wants him to train again.
Yeah, because like he's lost his edge and such.
Yeah. So we're not quite there yet. We're almost there. We're almost to the turning point of Rocky. Pow, pow, pow.
Yeah, which we don't even really get until Adrian comes back.
Yeah. He starts training beforehand, but he doesn't.
He's not really training.
He's not there. But he says, Buckus doesn't really look like a real dog to me. And Apollo Creed. This is like the scene where he's watching the TV scene. TV. I put my note for this scene is Buckus Skinwalker.
Oh, yeah.
Buckus doesn't look like a real dog, apparently. But what did Apollo say that agitated Rocky?
I think he called him like a caveman or something.
He was hiding. He's like, Balboa's been doing nothing but hiding for 6 months.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And then he brooded upstairs.
Yeah, and then he broods upstairs. And then we have the bedroom scene, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the all I know line.
I never asked you to stop being a woman.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna ask me to stop being a man?
Yeah. It's important, and I think that's the start of the turning point for Adrian agreeing for Rocky to fight. Because I think this is the moment where it starts. She's all like, "Oh, I won't be able to change him. This is probably the only way for us to keep going." Yeah. And I like that Rocky is just all like, "I don't want to get by. I want you and our son to have good things." That's the thing. There's a kid now. There's a kid in the picture now. There's a wife and a kid in the picture. Before it was a girlfriend. A wife and a kid is a lot bigger.
I also really like, I don't want to just get by.
Yeah.
That's a really good quote.
I agree too. And then Mickey comes in, and now we have Mickey's seal of approval. I think the moment he's like, I think we ought to kick this guy to the curb or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's like Mickey's true seal of approval from that moment. Because then after this is the chicken training. Training
montage 1.5.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the scene composition and where they place the cameras.
Yeah, I like the up-top shot.
Yes, the up-top shot that's almost from Adrian's point of view. You can barely see her in frame. That shoots onto...
Oh, what? Was her head peeking out the window or something?
No, she was on the stairs.
Oh.
No, you could like barely see her.
I thought you were talking about the when they were training with the chicken.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Cool.
I'm talking about the scene where Mickey still showed up.
Yeah, and then she's like in the back, and then she. Yeah. Okay.
But like there's like 2 point of views. There's one from up top that's shooting downward at Balboa and Mickey, and then the other one shooting upward towards Adrien.
Yeah.
It's almost a POV shot. It's really close.
Truth.
And I really love that scene composition. It's so good.
It's like the two complete opposite ends. At least for now, while Adrian's still like as I'm sure internally she understands because I have confidence in her. I'm sure she's like, I understand. That doesn't change the fact that I'm disappointed in what the outcome had to be.
But I do also like the top down. I realize what you mean now. Like the genuine true.
Oh
top
yeah, with
down.
the chicken from the top of the building. Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
But my next note is on the press conference.
Oh yeah, I wrote Apollo's hatred is so genuine and so real.
Yeah. I put down that I like the difference between Balboa and Creed during the press conference, and that like people fight and think differently, and this is such a good way to get me to root for both of them for different reasons. Because I don't particularly care who wins the fight. I mean, I want Balboa to win because he's the main character, but I won't be upset if Creed wins again, because Creed's got a lot at stake too, and they're both fighting hard.
Yeah.
They're both pushing to beat the other one.
Yeah, of course.
And they're putting a lot on the line to fight each other for this sport, for the entertainment of it all. And I like that this press conference highlights their points of view.
Yeah, and
their reasonings.
More for the show, and then yet again, just more showmanship from Creed, I think.
Yeah, because we saw how he was on that hospital bed. He doesn't always.
He's not at work.
He doesn't
wasn't
make
at
pot
work.
shots.
Yeah.
Every single time, and even like when the reporters asked Creed to make pot shots, he's all like, "No,
this isn't a circus."
Yeah.
Or he said some shit like that, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, he takes pot shots when they're gonna amplify what's going on. He won't take pot shots just to take pot shots.
Yeah.
Balboa didn't say nothing. They just wanted pot shots, and he's like, "No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna insult the man when he didn't do anything."
Yeah, good point.
And then after this is the water breaking coma scene.
I gotta find that. Oh.
Polly was a little annoying in that scene, actually. I didn't write that down.
Oh, dude, Polly pissed me off. I'm sure, because that was horrible. He was stressing her out, and he was blaming her for... Because he could have...
Which is crazy, because he wanted Rocky to fight before that.
Yeah. But also, I feel like what he was upset over was the fact that Rocky's head wasn't in the game for it.
Yeah.
And so he blamed Adrian on that, which, sure.
I'm
if you
sure
want to
that
think it was her...
contributed to Adrian's
No, that's
eventual
exactly what I'm
change.
saying. He could have been like, maybe you could talk to him. Just for me, for your brother, for Paulie.
Right.
But instead he was like, what the fuck? And he like knocked something out of her hand.
all the time.
I was like, dude.
And once again, Polly doing a very wrong thing for very right reasons. And that's why I don't think he's as bad as when he comes home drunk with the bat.
Oh, well, I mean, compared to that.
He's just doing something wrong to be wrong.
Yeah.
He's just wrong in every sense of the
Or
word.
in this
But
case,
Polly,
he's
in
trying
this
to help
case, he
out
does.
Rocky.
Yeah. Polly, he's got a lot of testosterone.
It just made me so sad that she had to get into a coma, dude.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I do love that she gets put in a coma, though, because now Rocky's head is completely out of the game, and he has even less time to train for November.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have what do you say that I really like? You can sleep as long as you want. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
Yeah.
And it made me so sad. Because he was so dedicated, and he's so in love with her.
I know.
I love it.
Me too.
And he's reading to her, and he wrote her a poem.
Well, the thing I have before that part is the church scene. When Rocky's praying at church. I love that he's religious. It's not enough of that.
And he's a religious Italian too.
Yeah, but I love that Mickey comes in, and he's so mean and grumpy sometimes, and he's kind of pushing Rocky in this scene.
Yeah.
But then he just sits down because he's like, Rocky's not paying. He's paying attention, but he's not responding. He sits down, and Mickey's just all like, I'll sit with you as long as you want.
Yeah, I like
until
that.
you're ready. And I think that's also one of Mickey's turning points. I love.
And he was
Mickey
also
for this.
with Rocky in waiting for.
That's what
Adrian
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Every single scene until Adrian wakes up, Mickey is there. He literally sits with Rocky.
Just taking a little sleep.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
He doesn't say anything, but he's there, and we know why he's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it means so much to Rocky as
Oh,
it does for us,
absolutely.
the audience, to see that and be like, that's the type
Yeah,
of
see
person
this
Mickey
grumpy
is.
old man be like, oh, fine, I'll stay with
Yeah.
you. I'll be here in your time of need.
Yeah. And then I wrote down, once again, I love the scene composition in this movie. You talked about like when Rocky is reading to Adrienne. I love that it's kind of shot from over her, and we see Rocky reading, and Mickey's in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene. I love that shot.
It's so good.
It's a great shot. I loved the letter that he wrote that all rhymed.
Yeah, the poem.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
poem.
Yeah, and I don't know what happens in between, but the music that as Adrian is waking up,
Yeah, that's my next.
it
thing.
almost got me. I almost cried.
It's just the slow rendition of the Rocky theme.
Really?
Yeah.
How do I not catch this? I didn't catch this
Yeah,
for
it
Fall Guy
literally-
or
it
nothing.
was, yeah, it was literally just doing it. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it was just much slower than that, but it was literally just that.
I guess
I
that's
can't
why it
do it that
worked.
slow. Yeah. I do agree. Her waking up is so emotional.
And then some of the first things she says after seeing the child is like, "Oh yeah, I wanna name him after you." Blah blah blah. But then when she says, you know, you let's win this thing,
Yeah.
or whatever.
She's all like, "I need you to do one more thing for me," and he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Win."
And then Mickey's like, "Finally!"
Yeah.
Like
Mickey's
foaming
like,
out the
what
mouth.
What the hell are we waiting for?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And I also loved. I didn't even realize, but when he was at home. Oh wait, no, that's a little bit after, because then we have training montage 2 for real.
The much more iconic training montage.
The
in
training
my
montage.
mind. And you said you knew that one more, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I think Run Point 2.0 is the best one. That's what I put.
I like all the people
crowd,
behind him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the crowd. And I'm like, this is the people's champion. And now
It's
that
so
he fought
beautiful
in the
to
big
see.
leagues, all the people want to support him now.
Mm-hmm.
They supported him then, and now he can garner even more support because he is still the people's champion.
Absolutely.
And I have no notes until the fight starts.
Oh, yeah, I have a little bit stuff before, like how I mentioned that, well, because I was like, why the hell is he at home? Why is he driving to the fucking venue? Which he was late anyway, still,
Yeah.
which is really funny. But then you reminded me, it was like,
Yeah,
what's
it's
your,
only 10 minutes
what are
away.
you so excited for about this fight? It's like, yeah, I live 10 minutes away. So I thought that was funny. But then, yeah, we get to the fight.
Yeah. All right. Apollo's entrance. Because Rocky's entrances, I think for the whole series, are literally just him walking onto the ring. I don't
Mhm.
think he ever does anything special. And if he does, I can't remember it. But Apollo's entrance, I think it is just as important that he doesn't go fucking crazy with this entrance like he does with pretty much all of his other entrances. This is not his last fight.
With the fact that he's
in the
more
franchise.
reserved.
Huh?
You like the fact that he's more reserved? Or what?
I like the fact that there isn't no over-the-topness.
Oh, okay.
Apollo and the way he fights is very important, and his entrances always show the way that he fights in each movie. And in this movie in particular, bro means business, and he only memes the entrance when he thinks he's gonna win for sure. He puts on a crazy show when he's not as serious about the fight. But this time he has so much more writing on this fight because even he believes he lost the first fight.
Yeah.
The judges might say he won, but he didn't beat Rocky. He needs to truly beat Rocky.
Of course.
Like he said, KO first 2 rounds. That didn't obviously happen. But,
Fuck no. Even though that was a really rough start.
yeah, it was a rough start for Rocky. And I think Apollo's lack of a crazy entrance is the crazy entrance because it stands out amongst all of his other entrances that you'll see. Because he is here and he means business and he's bringing Balboa through this ring.
It's the other wolf and thought of him.
Yeah. The other wolf.
Yeah.
Inside of you, there are 2 wolves.
Yeah, the last one was the white wolf.
But yeah, that's my thing on Apollo's entrances, just throughout the whole franchise.
For me, what stood out with the fight, I'm so excited that we're here because You know how much it was irking me. Where the fuck is the defense? Where is it?
Rocky does not defense.
Sometimes,
There's no defense, bro.
Neither was Creed. Like, they'd be getting hit in the face and just be like, you have arms.
Yeah.
Use them. And
Creed defended a lot, but he didn't always defend.
And there was only one instance of a good counter that, well, okay. And that's, you like research in the middle of the fight and like, said something and read something that I agreed with, where like by technically, technically,
by how these characters are written,
yeah, Rocky is not a good fucking fighter. No, he's awful.
He did not have a good record. I think they said, I forgot what they. I don't know.
He lost at least half of the ones he was in.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And then I remember seeing one like good weave and counter, and I was like, oh.
Take in mind, all of those like wins and losses he has are against non-professionals.
Like Spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Spider Rico, but he's not a professional.
No, not by any means. No. So it makes sense, but regardless, I was still kind of like, please.
Yeah. No, it's.
Which is pretty much my only notes. It's like 3 in a row of, bro, what the.
You just wanted a little this. That's all you need.
Just a little bit.
No, that's
just
fair.
A little bit
that's
of this
fair.
and that.
Yeah. I think from Apollo's end, it's a little annoying. I'm honestly okay with Rocky not doing it. Just because I think I was annoyed as you were annoyed. Mm-hmm. But once I read that explanation of like, he's an unprofessional fighter. He has literally been given a 1 in a million shot that no one has or will ever get.
Oh yeah, especially now.
Yeah.
Like in this seating recording, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense. But in the initial moment, before I read that explanation, I 100% was in the corner of, Rocky, what the hell are you doing?
Are you just...
Yeah, just taking the hits.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But he's not that smart. Mm-mm. And he's not a good fighter. So, and we just have to take that into account.
Yeah, I noticed he never did much sparring training.
No. He didn't, no, not at all.
He just did like weights and cardio and speed bags and all that shit.
Going, bah, bah, on his.
That's so real. That shit.
That is a crazy training regimen. The sit-ups with the dude, the Donald Glover looking clone, just kept hitting him. I was like,
no, dude. Like, I've seen different athletes train where they're doing like just dead hangs. Well, not dead hangs because they're like doing core workouts while they'll pick up their legs, in a side motion, and in between, someone will just give them a hook to the fucking gut.
God.
There's some intense training regimes. I fuck with it.
I think it was round 2 again. Rocky's nose breaks again.
I think it broke my nose again.
Yeah.
At least there was no eye.
Yeah. I like that. Once again, Apollo is... And I think in this case, there is no setup of like the thing that no one has ever done to them before. There is no one's ever broke my nose, and there is no one's ever knocked me down. So there's nothing that Rocky throws at Creed to show the rivalry, but we already know the rivalry.
Yes,
because we got a press conference this time, and we already got the first movie. So this time I think it's smart that Rocky didn't get to do anything to him that's never been done before, or that stands out in the fight. Because like he did knock Creed down. He barely hit him the first couple rounds.
Yeah.
So when Creed breaks his nose, already right at the start, we're all like, since we know like the whole thing with Rocky's nose being broken is like a thing that's super rare and has never happened before Creed. Creed doing it again so early again is like,
it's still same guy.
Yeah.
It's still Apollo Creed.
It's still Apollo Creed, and it also shows how much more business he means this time.
Yeah, it's like the force to be reckoned with for Rocky. So.
Yeah. Because, at this point in the story, Apollo Creed has still yet to be beat. Mm-hmm. We have yet to surpass him. His Frieza to his Goku. I am wearing a Jujutsu Kaisen shirt underneath this hoodie. And this hoodie is also a Walking Dead hoodie, so look at that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I really like that. And then I also put the corner throw.
The corner throw?
When Apollo tried to get out of the corner.
Oh, yeah, he just yoinks him the fuck into the corner.
Like Rocky grabs him. I grabbed the mic. No. He grabs him and just chucks him back in there and then wails on him more. And I think that, and My next note after that is the exchanges are insane in this fight. They are absolutely brutal.
There were some where I was like, oh wow, this looks like this is fucking intense, especially like Rocky's body shots.
Yes. Those look like they hurt a lot.
Body shots hurt so much more sometimes if they land really well than like getting sucker punched in the jaw.
Yeah.
Like so genuinely and truly.
I mean, you have all your
like
organs
right here on the side. It's just like your body's like, where did all that come from?
Yeah.
It's gnarly. So there were a couple exchanges where like, this is fucking brutal. This is a bloodbath.
I know you were all like, they look like they're going like to war, and I'm all like, they look like they're coming home from war.
Yeah.
Like they looked awful.
They were straight like.
They looked worse in this one than in the last one.
That was the
Even
beef
though, like,
of all
Rocky had to
time.
get his eye cut. In the last one, I still think he looked worse in this one.
This was a more consistent beating.
Yeah, because both of them gave it their all, and their all this time was more than their all last time. I still believe that Creed gave Rocky his all in the last movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, even though he kind of memed it a little bit.
I feel like this time he just had more all to give because he was training really hard too.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And I put down that the fight is so engaging to watch, even though I haven't seen the movies in a long time. But yeah. Oh, and we just talked about their all.
Yeah, I don't have much on the fight, except for those few points.
I think. Yeah, I'm coming to a close.
My very final point.
I do prefer this fight.
Was the lack of guarding is so hard to watch, bro. Like word for word, that's what I wrote down.
My last 2 points are, I love that he wins this time, and for my description quote, yo, Adrian, I did it.
And then credits.
Yeah, and then credits. I love that there's no real epilogue. It's third act done.
It's just, he won.
Yeah, he won. Goodbye.
Yeah.
We'll pick it up next time.
See you in a few years.
We'll pick it up in 2 weeks on episode 7. 7? A Blockbuster Banter. But that's both Rocky 1 and 2.
I know.
This is my second S+ tier.
S+.
That I'm putting at the top of S+ tier. This is my favorite movie we watched so far.
S+.
I love Rocky 2 so much. Very, very top of S+ tier. Like I said, I'm only going to use 3 S+ slots at any given time.
And then
they'll
move around.
We'll have to move stuff into S tier if I decide.
This was another A for me. I really liked it.
Yeah. Better. You said better than the first one?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That is, to my understanding, the common consensus.
Yeah.
Is that the second movie is better than the first one. Some people like 4 the most.
We'll see.
I don't know. All of them, every single movie, I think. Maybe not Creed. I don't know. Creed is so not talked about. At least in my universe. I love Creed a lot. I love all 3 movies a lot. I just don't see a lot of people talk. They make a lot of money. So clearly a lot of people watch them.
Yeah.
They're making a 4th.
Damn, really?
Yeah. Once again, written and directed by Michael B. Jordan.
He
just like the third
did
one.
he
did. I don't think he
nice.
did 1 and 2. Stallone definitely didn't. No, Michael B. Jordan I think helps write them. He doesn't direct them because the reason Rocky doesn't appear after Creed 2 is he doesn't like the director's vision for the franchise.
Oh,
Like
so Stallone just yeah.
Yeah, so Stallone is all like, I don't want Rocky to be part of these stories.
That's respect.
Yeah, so that's why I don't remember what they say about Rocky in Creed 3. I think he's dead.
Makes sense. Stallone's old.
Yeah.
Rocky's
in my
old.
mind, Rocky is dead.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's whatever.
That leaves the end.
But yeah. So yeah, A tier, S+ tier. Would you like to announce what is next for next week?
Ladies and gentlemen. Wait, what? Oh, we announced the
We
next.
usually always announce. The last 3 episodes we have.
Oops.
We've announced and then smash or passed and then outroed.
It's called Edge. I forgot what
It's
the web
called
browser.
Edge?
I forgot what the web browser was called.
Oh.
Cause it's under my heart bar. It's under my hot bar for some reason. We got Top Gun Maverick. Oh.
Just Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. In my opinion, first one isn't needed, but Top Gun Maverick is. I'm not going to spoil my rating, but
Yeah.
it's it's
I
up
already know
there.
my rating too.
I already know my
This
rating.
is
It's up there.
another instance in Blockbuster Banter history that we both have seen the movie.
Mm-hmm. Same with my following submission, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah, yeah. I'm looking at right. Okay.
The private list.
Anyways, the Blockbuster Banter, Smash or Pass.
I'm gonna figure out how to put it up here. Don't worry.
We're almost there. We're almost there. All right. We'll start with Rocky. I'm not going to repeat characters, but I think maybe there's not. I don't know. Let's start basic. Spider Rico.
Pass.
Yes.
Okay.
Pass. I'm thinking of like who's important and
Do you
who
have
do
the
we?
cast?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at him. All right, Duke. Apollo's trainer.
Oh, Smash.
Good. Smash. I love Duke. Mickey.
Pass.
Pass.
I can't-
Young Mickey, yes, but that's just because I'm looking at his picture and he's a handsome man.
Oh, okay.
Polly. Pass.
oh,
pass.
oh, I forgot who Polly was. Hard pass. Hard
Yeah,
pass.
hard
Hard
pass.
pass. Reporting to authorities. Hard pass.
Reporting to authorities. I'm debating. Let me look at the Rocky 2 cast before I continue. Let me see if there are any new characters that are important to
I
include.
don't-
The priest. Father
priest.
Something.
Pass. I feel like he's
I'd
celibate.
smash.
No,
I don't think
okay.
he's celibate.
No,
Bit.
okay.
Maybe he is. Mr. Gazzo.
Smash.
Apollo Creed's wife.
Smash.
Marianne Creed. Smash.
Mm-hmm. She's pretty.
She's okay. I think I'll pass.
Okay.
All right. The top dogs. Apollo Creed. Smash.
Smash. Easy.
Adrian.
Here's my thing. I feel like she's just a friend. I can only be her friend, and I would want.
I like Shy Girls. Smash.
Okay. I'm gonna friend zone her.
That's fair. Friend zone.
I'm
Not
gonna
even a
friend zone
pass.
her.
It's friend zone.
It's just friend zone.
And the easy one. Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Balboa.
Smash.
Smash.
A million times over.
Yep. Anyways, thank you. Sorry, outro. What am I doing?
Oh yes. We already went over next week. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one.
Woo!
That sucked.
That was awful.
Yeah.